What's going on, guys? Line Trader here. I'm going to do an update on Bitcoin as we have a new high now, so we have a little bit more price action to work with. And if you found this video valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. I don't charge anything for doing these analysis, but it really helps me out if y'all just take a moment to share and like my video. Really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and dig in here. First thing that I want to take a look at so we can kind of get an idea and really look at the foundation of the market is to look at the algos. So I had been working from this algo pivot right here. The problem is that we've broken the 65. So if this is the algo that the algos are using, that means that they've been stopped out. Well, what's a little bit tricky here is I'm not exactly sure, because I know this was the most significant previous algo sell. So I know there's going to be a major algo reacting there off of this pull. Now, from here to here, this was another algo sell, and from here to here was another algo sell. So that's why I had been using this pull along with my Elliot Wave count. I believe that is the E of the triangle. So that's where you should properly look at it. So really now I want to be pulling from here because this is going to be the next resistance point. Interestingly enough, so let me take a step back actually. So back from the 20K high, we came down, we tested this range, okay? We can see reaction here, got trapped up for a little bit, came back, tested it, went back up. Once we hit the all-time high and then we came down, we stopped, went up, came down, and we kept testing this all year long, all year. And what that tells us is this is a very strong support level. It took us an entire year for us to break that. And then once we finally broke it, and now we're working our way up, what does that tell you? When support is broken, it becomes resistance. So what this is that we're approaching is a steel wall of resistance. I'd be very, very surprised if we get through this easily, especially with us bearishly diverging on the daily and the NVT indicator saying that, hey, this thing's about to go down. I find it highly unlikely that we break this level. So I wanted to point that out. I have this right here as the lower region, which we have just begun to touch, and the upper region being this yellow dotted line here. And as you can see, we tested it, testing. So I do think this would probably be the most significant point of resistance right here, and then maybe up to about here. If we get above that, I'm going to be flipping bullish. I'm not too concerned about the golden cross, honestly, because if you look back here, golden cross, nothing happened. I really don't rely that heavily on EMAs. I do greatly like them for giving you market direction, but given that there was this triangle here and we moved sideways for so long, and that the EMAs are lagging indicators, this gave the EMAs enough time to catch up and narrow. And so I'm not putting as much weight on this really until we break this wall, because you can't, if you are a bull, you can't deny this is going to be a heavy resistance. And if we're looking at the bull case, well, what's going to happen is this is some sort of a first impulse up off the low for the bulls here. And we're going to hit this and we're going to come back down to put in a 2. So even if you are a bull, this is a win-win situation. You're going up to a steel wall of resistance and we're going to come back down. We're going to either be correcting for the 2 of the bull case, or we are going to be finishing the B, which I believe, of a W, X, Y, X, Z correction. So I'm still bearish. Something else that I want to take into note here is if you look at this algo pull coming up, we have the 618 right here. We have a median line right here. And we can tell that the market has been reacting off of this median line, because if you look, we're coming up, boom, boom, and we hover all around the median line. And one of the median line rules is that price will often make many pivots around the median line, before moving on. And another rule is that we will often have a pivot at the median line. So what's happening here? We're returning to the median line. Okay, we know that there's more often than not, there will be a pivot at the median line. What's also here? An algo sell. Now, something else I want to take a look at is these blue dotted lines here. Now, if y'all have been following me, you know that I'm following a fractal from 2014. So let's go back there real quick. All right, so this is that fractal. We're making that ABC corrective pattern of a ABC for the final Z leg of the 2014 correction. Interestingly enough, if you look at the Fibonacci time extension, that on the where we are right now, that is the blue line, dotted line on the right. We started to dump about 3/4 of the way to the 50% fib time extension of the bull run. So now if we go back to our current chart, we can see that we are approaching the 3/4 of the way to the 50% fib time extension of how long this bull run took. So this is the 50% mark, is what that tells us. And we're about to be right where we were in 2014 when we turned down. And this is denoting the point in time where the 2014 market had bottomed out. So looking at all of that, we have a lot of confluence here that we're going to be coming up to a very, very heavy resistance point for us to be turning. So, given all of this, I'm remaining bearish. The only thing that's going to turn me bull is if this algo is broken and we get above that 6K wall of resistance. That's the only thing that's going to make me go bullish, because I have so many indicators telling us we're going down. Let's take a look at the NVT indicator. Look at that. How much longer can we sustain, this bullish momentum going up when, if we look at the past on NVT, where is it? Right there. Come on, really? All right, I don't know why it's not letting me drag that. But if you just to refresh your mind on what the NVT is actually doing, is this is measuring the transactional volume to the I believe it's transactional volume divided by I think it's the market cap of Bitcoin. But what it's doing is it's very similar to the PE ratio in stocks, where it's judging the amount of transactional volume flowing through the blockchain, and it's saying, hey, the price is at $7,000 or wherever, but there's not enough transactional volume flowing through the blockchain to be able to support that price. That's why you notice that this thing has been able to peg the tops so accurately, is because it's not based off of a moving average. It's not based off of lagging indicators. This is measuring the amount of utility. And by utility, what I mean is, for example, if you're valuing a company, you look at its earnings, right? You look at how much money is coming into that company to be able to value it, right? Bitcoin, the true value of Bitcoin is based on its use case as a store of value and its use case of being able to send and receive money to people. Well, we aren't sending and receiving enough transactions through the blockchain to be able to justify the price of where we are, if that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling a little bit there. I just had a venti coffee, so got a little bit of a caffeine buzz going. But you get my point. Is what I'm saying is that the true value of Bitcoin isn't 5,500. Sorry to break it to you, bulls. As much as y'all want to to believe that Bitcoin's going to $100,000 in 2 months. It's just the fundamentals aren't there. We're laying the foundation right now for that to happen. By all means, I believe we are going to see a multi-million-dollar Bitcoin, but right now we don't have enough fundamentals in place to justify this price. This is pure FOMO. If you look at Twitter, if you look at YouTube or any social media that you go to, all you're seeing is people saying bull run, bull run, bull run. At the end of a bear market, you're not going to be having people screaming bull run like that. You're just not. You're going to have despair. You're going to be, this is euphoria. That's exactly what we're feeling here. Go back to the stock chart that shows you the fear and greed of the market, and how whenever you get to the top, it's you're in that euphoria stage. That's where we are right now. Everybody's screaming, "Hey, this thing's going to the moon, 100K this year, blah blah blah." All this nonsense. They're just talking. It's all noise. They have nothing to back that up. If you look at the fundamentals, if you're a good technical analysis or analyst and you know what you're doing, there's really not a whole lot of bull cases to be made for us to just moonshot to 100,000. There's really not. The most bullish news that I've seen is, I believe Starbucks is going to be allowing you to use Bitcoin to buy coffee. That's great, because that is one of the first steps into mass adoption, which is good. That's laying the foundation for this to eventually take over fiat currencies, but that doesn't justify a price, just going to 100,000. People aren't buying that much coffee. But if you think about it, if you think back to whenever we had our debit cards, right, or our credit cards, and they didn't used to have that chip where you would insert it, think about what happened. First, you saw a couple places that would have it, right? Oh, we have this new chip thing you stick in your credit card, and that's how you do your transaction, because it's more secure from hackers and credit card fraud and all that. Well, think about what's happening with Bitcoin. Think about what's happening where, we have Starbucks looking to accept payments for it. And I don't take my word for the Starbucks thing. Look into it. I only briefly saw the article and someone talking about it. I really don't dig into news a whole lot, so please do your own research on that. But you get my point. We're slowly going to have one retailer at a time. Hey, we're accepting Bitcoin now. Hey, we're accepting Ethereum now. And that's what's going to slowly happen, is you're going to have more and more and more. It's just going to be a snowball effect, and you're going to have a transition of where we are slowly seeing a decline in people using fiat to buy things, and a rise in people using Bitcoin to pay for things at retailers. So it's not like it's going to be overnight. Bitcoin's a $5-10 million coin, and the dollar just goes straight to the gutter. I don't think that's going to happen. I believe it's going to be a transition where, the value of the dollar is going down and Bitcoin is just chugging along. But I'm starting to ramble. Let's get back to the technicals here. So I'm going to zoom in here and give you a little bit of a closer look. I'm going to kind of hurry because I'm kind of dragging this out a little longer than I wanted. Let's see here. Come on. Why is this thing not letting me? Okay, well, I had this all charted out really nicely, but it's not letting me show it. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to talk y'all through it without the Elliot Wave there. You see, I charted all this out, and then I had hid it, but the layers here is not letting me show them, so I can unhide everything. Well, that's not good. Well, what I really wanted to show you is, if you look here at the bearish divergence that we're seeing, and this is also how I believe you should properly look at divergences. Just because looking at RSI isn't enough. To me, RSI is a velocity indicator. It's measuring how fast the price action is moving, and volume is measuring your momentum. So I'm sorry, volume is measuring your mass. So velocity and mass, you can get your momentum. So as you can see here, the volume is decreasing as we are making higher prices, right? Higher highs, volume's decreasing. Okay, so what does that tell you? We're losing mass. We're losing the amount of people willing to buy at this price. Now look here. RSI is going down. This is telling you that the speed at which the price is moving up is slowing down. So the speed of the price moving up is slowing down, and the amount of people buying Bitcoin at this price is decreasing. So what does that tell you as we're coming into this steel wall of resistance? That is how you verify divergence. That is how you have more accuracy with that. But essentially, what I believed is we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the fifth of this move. I had it laid out nice. It's really frustrating that I can't get that to show up. But anyway, but we're finishing up the fifth wave here, I believe, as we had this flat correction for a 4, and once this is done, we'll dump down. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry I know I dragged this video out a little bit longer than I would have liked. I shouldn't have drinking that much coffee, I guess. Kind of started to ramble. But those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. I'm still bearish. But yeah, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.